I would like to personally thank every fan that came out to the game tonight. I thought for a team that hadn't had recent success and a team that, quite honestly, in the past and here recently hasn't been there for their fans, I thought they showed out great and supported us, and I want to thank them for that. Obviously, it's a disappointing ball game. I felt like physically we just got handled. Obviously we turned the ball over, but just to me, standing on the sidelines, just physically, I felt like we were just handled on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, if you won 4 turnovers, you still won this football game.
Yeah, but yeah, correct. Mighta, coulda, shoulda, woulda. But it's hard to beat anybody when you do those things. And, there's some very fundamental principles of this sport. And one of them is when you have the ball, you can't give it to the other team. And we didn't adhere to that. And that was one of the contributing factors. Along with, I felt like, just in general terms, that they were the more physical unit.
Is that the reason why running the ball has been so difficult? Because you feel you're getting manhandled up in front?
Well, part of it is you get behind and you stop running the ball. But it is a lot easier in this game to throw it when you can run it. And, I think there's several reasons why we haven't had a dominant rushing attack, and we're going to continue to address those in recruiting. But I think we still got to find a way to eke it out. We got to find a way to ham and egg it and be it in there and run the football to give us a chance to throw it down the field. You have 2 big plays in the first half because of the threat of running the ball. That's why you have those. It's not because you're this great passing team. It's because people trying to defend the run leave things open. And so, that's a fundamental principle of what we've got to do offensively.
I feel like you're going the right direction at halftime when you're able to come down and hit the score and something's ball.
Yeah, and that's a brutal way to start the half, obviously, to fumble the kickoff coming out. I mean, I know that's pretty obvious, but I felt like our guys kind of responded to some adversity there at the end of the half, put a drive together, and we're ready to come out and fight tooth and nail to win the game.
What happened in the timeout, Justin?
I'm sorry?
What happened in the timeout in the first half? You got really upset.
They said we called timeout when the play clock was running out.
What did the officials see? Was it a player on the field or something?
Yeah, they said a player on the field was calling timeout.
Did you call the players together at the end of the first half?
Yeah, we do that every time. Yeah, just to get them.
It seemed fiery. Was it? I mean, it was pretty fiery.
Yeah, they were. We had that deal, and that's inexcusable on my part, to be quite honest with you. That's one thing that I preach to our guys, and that shouldn't have happened. But our guys, I felt like, responded, and we went down and scored. But I always bring them up right before the half, just to, quite honestly, for several reasons. Sometimes you cross paths. We don't here, but at other places you cross paths to go into locker rooms just to make sure they're there and to give them a quick word. And so, I mean, they were pretty jazzed at that time.
Did you feel like you found some things that were working, particularly in the deep passing game?
Yeah, I mean, we felt comfortable, throwing the ball around. It's just you'd like to be able to run it better to help everything else out. And we didn't. But we did make some plays in the passing game that let us hang in there. And the deep play, they play pretty tight anyway, to be honest with you. I mean, their kind of MO is they play man coverage, they play quarters and press. I mean, they don't give you a lot of easy stuff, and we felt like we had to try and back them up to start with in order to have a chance to throw some easy completions, easy, short, dink and dunk type stuff. So I think we accomplished that.
But last week, especially in the first half and really into the middle of the third quarter, was some of the best tackling I'd seen in a long time in Memphis. And then tonight, guys were juking and jiving and missing tackles. It's amazing that it went like that in 1 week.
It's bad. I'm going to first of all give credit to middle for having – they can run. They can really run. They are really, really fast. But I felt like we were timid, you know. And I don't – you know, I talked to the defense, you know, defensive staff. Let's go take our shot. You know, let's go throw at them and go – but I felt like we were kind of on our heels, you know.
Is the physically manhandling thing you were talking about before, is that physically strong enough, or is it a mindset?
Well, I think it's both. You know, I think it's development. I think it's age. I think it's, but I also think it's toughness, mindset, gritty, determination. So I think it's a compilation of several things, and you know, that's what I want this team to represent, is the blue-collar, hard-working, earn everything you get type team. And, you know, we're trying to exemplify that. It's going to take us a little while.
Is it surprising that you said timid? I mean, because last week they weren't, and then this week they're at home and come out like that?
Well, I don't know if that's the right word. I felt like we wouldn't take our shot at the guys in space. You know what I mean? I felt like, I don't know if I can describe it well enough other than this is what I told the defense. I feel like we're in position and we're on our heels. Let's go throw. Let's go, you know, let's go run through them. And I don't know if that's a byproduct of, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. And the other thing is, it's hard, you know, it's really hard for me to make an assumption like that from standing on the field. You know, I mean, you have to be objective and look at the film and try and make those things. I'm just telling you kind of how I felt standing there on the field.
Did you see that physical play out of middle on film? Is that something that surprised you?
Well, I thought that last week they responded after you know, a rough opening and really got back to being a physical running football team. I think he's fine. Yeah. I think he's fine.
Talk about what you got from him tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously he had 10 catches for 177 yards. You know, he plays our position that's going to get balls. You know, he's the outside guy that's going to have chances, and you know, he's becoming a guy that we're going to we're going to do our best to make sure it touches the football for us, because he has shown, you know, he can run, and you know, he's worked hard to get where he's at, and I've been pleased with his development.
You made the change tonight. I don't know if it's from here on out with the kicker, field goals, and extra points. Tell us how you thought Spurlock did and what went into that decision.
I was proud of him. You know, Paulo just, you know, has been excellent on kickoffs, as good as anybody could ever want. We just felt like he was a little erratic, kicking field goals, and you know, wanted to give Spurlock a chance on some of the short stuff, and he came in and did a great job. Very proud of him.
On the flip side, it didn't look like you found a solution. You're happy with the running back, or?
We're going to continue to run those guys through there. I mean, it's not. This isn't. I don't think it will be a one back deal. You know, I mean, it won't be a that's our guy on the cover of the poster kind of deal. We're going to continue to run those guys through there.
There was some calls about unsportsmanlike conduct in tonight's game, last week's game, I think the week before. Is everybody's attitude on the right level?
I think so. You know, and I don't know if I should tell you all this, but I got the last one. I was standing in the way. I was talking on the headset, and the guy back I wasn't. I was standing in the way. I wasn't talking to the officials. I wasn't doing anything. I was talking to the guys upstairs, walking on the sidelines, and I was in the way. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like we ripped a face mask off. I mean, it was the right call. It was my fault. But we got the roughing the passer penalty. I think our mindset is pretty good. I think our kids understand what we're going to tolerate and what's going to fly with us. So in short, yes, I think they're in the right place. You bet.